You know, we've all been there. You've spent weeks, maybe months learning a new programming language. You know the syntax inside and out, but then you face a real problem, a real challenge, and suddenly you just freeze. Well, today, we're going to bridge that gap. We are going to look at an incredible tool that can take you from someone who just knows code to someone who is a genuine problem solver. Let's dive in.
And really, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? You've got the loops down, you understand functions, you even get data structures. But when you're staring at a blank screen with a tricky problem to solve, how do you make that leap? That's the challenge we're going to unpack right now.
Because you see, the real skill in programming isn't just about writing code that doesn't crash. It's about applying it. It's about thinking critically and efficiently to solve actual problems. This is the exact hurdle you need to clear for job interviews, for programming competitions, and yeah, even for those cool personal projects you want to build. It's all about making that jump from theory to practice.
So how do you even practice a skill like that? Well, lucky for us, there's a whole world built for exactly this. Welcome to the world of online judges. Think of them as the ultimate training grounds, where modern programmers go to sharpen their minds.
Okay, so what exactly is an online judge? Well, it's basically a digital arena. It's a website that gives you a problem, you write code to solve it, and then you submit your solution. The judge then automatically tests your code against a whole bunch of test cases and gives you instant feedback. It's literally a gym for your brain.
And believe me, this is a huge, well-established world. You've probably heard of some of these, like LeetCode and HackerRank, especially if you've been looking at job applications. Then you have giants like Codeforces and AtCoder for the super competitive folks. There are tons of platforms out there, but today we're going to focus on one that I think is a fantastic starting point for pretty much everyone.
And make no mistake, this isn't just for students messing around. We're talking about top-tier competitive programmers who use these platforms to train for huge events like the ICPC. Companies, big and small, use them to screen job candidates, and tons of professionals use them to stay sharp for interviews. This is a real-world, industry-standard way to level up your skills.
So with all those options out there, where should you start? Well, let's zoom in on one in particular, Kattis. It really stands out from the crowd as an exceptionally good platform, whether you're writing your very first Hello World or you're already a seasoned pro.
So what's the big deal with Kattis? Why is it such a top choice? Well, it's not just another face in the crowd. Its reputation is built on having incredibly well-designed problems and a powerful, reliable judging system that you can absolutely trust.
Let's just break down what makes Kattis so great. First off, it's completely free. No paywalls, no barriers. Second, it has serious street cred. It's the official platform for the ICPC, which is basically the World Cup of collegiate programming. Third, the skills you build here are exactly what top employers are looking for. And finally, it's a fantastic sandbox for trying out a new language on real, actual problems. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is backed by actual research. Studies have found that using Kattis creates this amazing positive feedback loop. The more you use it, the more motivated you are to solve problems, and by doing that, you become that effective problem solver that's really the hallmark of a great computer scientist.
All right, enough talk, let's get our hands dirty. How do you actually go about solving your very first problem on Kattis? We're going to walk through it step by step. Okay, first things first, you gotta have an account. Just head over to open.kattis.com. It's totally free, takes 2 seconds to sign up. This is what lets you submit your solutions and, just as importantly, keep track of all the awesome problems you've conquered.
Now, when it comes to testing your code before you submit, there are basically 2 ways to do it. There's a slick command line tool that automates things, which is great, but for your first time, I cannot recommend the manual process enough. It really forces you to understand the absolute fundamentals of how a program takes in data and produces a result.
So here's the manual workflow, broken down into 4 simple steps. First, you download the sample files from the problem page on Kattis. Easy enough. Second, you create your own code file, your solution, right there in the same folder. Third, you pop open a terminal and compile your code. And fourth, the magic step. You run a special command to test it locally. It's a super clean, repeatable process that puts you in total control.
Okay, this command right here is the secret sauce. Let's break it down real quick. You're running your compiled program, which is a.out. You're feeding it using that little less than sign, the sample input file. Then you're piping its output into a command called diff, which compares it against the correct sample answer file. Now here's the cool part. If you run this and you see nothing, that's perfect. No news is good news. It means your output perfectly matches the answer. Your code works for the sample case.
So once you've passed that local sample test, you are ready for the main event. You just take your source code file, your .cpp, your Python file, whatever, and you upload it straight to the Kattis website. Kattis will then take over and run it against a whole bunch of hidden, more complicated test cases to give you the final verdict. It's either accepted or wrong answer. It's a pretty thrilling moment, I gotta say.
And getting that green accepted notification feels amazing. But solving one problem is just the first step on a much longer road. This whole process, it isn't really about collecting correct answers. It's about the journey.
You have to remember, the real prize here isn't just a green check mark. It's about training your brain to see a complex problem, break it down into smaller pieces, design an elegant solution, and then implement it cleanly. You are building the core muscle of computational thinking, and that is the true hallmark of every great programmer and computer scientist.
So there you have it. You have the tools, you have the roadmap. There are literally thousands of challenges on Kattis, from super simple to absolutely mind-bending, just waiting for you. The only question left is, what are you going to solve first? Your first problem is waiting.